Welcome, everyone, to Is It a Film, a weekly podcast that critiques and memes film and asks one very important question. Is it a film?
No.
Spoilers, 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 so watch out, we're spoiling everything. And I'm your host, Vincent Thomas Short, a.k.a. Robert Eggers is essential to a healthy breakfast.
Why'd you do your full name? Now they can steal your identity.
No, oh yeah, I forgot. That's my password. Everything is just my middle name.
It's also your social security number somehow.
It's not.
Imagine if that
would be
imagine
stupid.
if somehow that could work.
My social security number is actually 666666669.
Wow, so edgy.
Yeah,
I feel like
and I'm joined by my
I feel like you might have done too many numbers.
I don't.
How many did you?
I don't even have a social security number.
Yo, you didn't do enough numbers.
I'm here, and I'm joined by my ever-attentive co-host, my best friend, my pal, my amigo, Jonathan, aka.
Are you friend or Willem Dafoe?
AKA.
We can rule the city together, Spider-Man!
Oh, AKA.
AKA, I didn't see Willem Dafoe's massive penis in this movie, and that makes me kind of sad.
This is episode 24 of Is It a Film, an episode we like to call She's a Light House. Today we're going over the 2019 American psychological horror film, The Lighthouse. We're going to be going over a basic ass intro, telling you why it's important, going over the Wikipedia's plot summary, going over some Google and IMDb reviews.
Got both.
And going over a very terrible last segment. So terrible, I didn't even plan one.
You didn't even plan one?
We're going to figure it out. It's worked out better sometimes.
Man, you didn't want to do work for any of these shows today.
No, I did, but I think sometimes when we don't plan it out, it works better.
Does it?
Because it's supposed to be really bad anyway.
That's true.
That's the whole entire point.
It's bad, just like all improv should be.
Yeah. Before we start, if you want to follow Is It a Film, you can find us at youtube.com/Is It a Film. If you want to follow us on social media, you can find us at Is It a Film on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Support us monetarily through Patreon, patreon.com/The Anthony and Todd Show. And if you want to find us in podcast form, search The Anthony and Todd Show on Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Get the best of both worlds. Music and film reviews. Are you ready? What's the clickbait title this week, Jonathan? We're in the basic ass intro.
Willem Dafoe's massive penis.
That's we can't put that.
We would get a lot of clicks.
No, we get a lot of banned.
What are we worried about? It's not like we monetize any of this.
No, but I think you can. I think if you put like penis, you could get.
We could put strong.
No, I don't want to do that. Well, I think this film's good enough to actually get an actual clickbait.
Oh,
is it the best film of 2019? Question mark.
It's better than Midsummer.
Yeah, we haven't seen many contemporary films.
Can we just this is something I absolutely hate right now. Why is no one talking about this film?
Because the release schedule was fucking shit.
But months ahead of Midsummer's wide release, people were talking about Midsummer. It's so good. It's the best horror film of the year. It's the best horror film of all time. It makes Hereditary look like a ginormous piece of shit. Cause it's so fucking good. Oh my god.
Doesn't take anything to make Hereditary.
I mean, Hereditary made itself look like a giant piece of shit. But then, this movie comes out, and this movie's actually
I have
unique.
I have one excuse.
Oh.
So, the actual initial release date, because it debuted at I think Cannes or something like that, some type of film festival,
big one,
and then it did on October 18th release, which was kind of the limited release.
Yeah,
but they didn't advertise that, and then it got a much larger release, and I don't know if they had trouble booking theaters. It was only. We couldn't see it at the one we usually go to. We had to go to the one.
Well, no, it was playing there. Just didn't have good times.
Oh,
it was the show times for that one.
So it is a wider release.
It's wider release, but it's.
They didn't announce that. They said the whole entire release, and I think for a while I was also reading that I was going to get a wider release on the 28th or something, 26th.
It's
and just didn't.
No one for how much people were fucking just sucking Midsummer's dick. No one's fucking talking about this film.
Yeah. And the only thing this film did right is its promotion on Instagram I thought was really good and really memey.
With the seagull.
Yeah, it did really good because that's how I found out. I didn't see a trailer. I didn't want to see a trailer going into this.
Yeah.
I just saw the footage of William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson.
I did watch the trailer. I watched the trailer that somebody did where they edited clips of SpongeBob over the audio from the trailer.
That sounds amazing. That sounds very fitting.
It was fucking amazing. That's the trailer I saw that got me pumped for this film.
And then you were disappointed because it wasn't that.
There was no SpongeBob.
Okay, we need a clickbait title. What's the best film 2019 question mark?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going with that.
Or better than Midsummer.
This film is. We need to get through this. This is gonna be a long episode.
Yeah.
This film's written by Robert Eggers and Max Eggers, and Robert Eggers is the guy who did the Double VH.
The Witch, another
Yeah.
great. Again, going back to Midsummer, why is nobody hyping this guy up as like one of the best modern horror directors of all time? Like everybody is like Ari Aster, like best horror director of all time, game changer. Like Hereditary, like was like 2/3 good.
Because this has depth to it, and Hereditary
Let me think.
had depth, but people don't understand it. And that's any discussion I have with any other person besides you does not understand that depth. And I'm not saying because you're special, you're Mr. It's just like I don't think general audiences understand the depth, and they just want they want kind of like a artistic slasher film in a weird
Yeah.
way, where I don't think it is a slasher film to a sense, but it has like aesthetic of the way these people are being killed off, almost like a slasher film.
But it's just
But it's artsy enough where people would be like, "Oh, I went to the
Did you see the new Hereditary?
I went to the Neon and I got me a craft beer and I watched Hereditary," and it's like that's the type of audience that is hyping.
for our non-Dayton audience, which probably doesn't exist.
Neon doesn't matter.
Yeah, the Neon's the local.
I love the
artsy-
Neon.
It's the local artsy feeder in our area.
I love the Neon.
I love it too.
Shout out the Neon, but like,
Go Neon.
yeah,
I think they're getting JoJo Rabbit.
They
soon.
already have.
They have.
Yeah.
They got JoJo Rabbit. Nobody else around here did.
yeah, which is weird. I
yeah.
think that's also getting a national release, isn't it?
I
It should, because I see
Pretty much
commercials.
everything Taika Waititi makes doesn't get a wide release outside of 4.
Why am I seeing commercials for it on television?
That's Taika Waititi.
It doesn't make any sense if I
know.
can't see the film in like a regular feeder.
Yeah,
like a
but-
chain. Why are they giving me?
Yeah. Anyway, what I was saying is like, because like Ari Aster, like
Harry Astor.
Harry Aster
Harry asshole.
does like these just like overly artsy versions of like pretty generic horror films or like rip-offs of other films. Like Midsummer, it's just fucking Wicker Man.
Yeah,
It's just a much slower, much artsier form of Liquor Man.
and no one understands
no-
that,
and nobody-
no one gets that besides us. Like, and people who comment who are
Yeah.
smart,
And then,
like,
like this is a legitimately like creative and unique film, and like I have been like racking my brain trying to like piece like all of its elements and like influences together.
and here's the thing about Midsummer. And same thing with Hereditary. I cannot find anyone who has a good argument defending that film. It's
Yeah.
always some like bullshit thing that doesn't make any sense.
Free-
And it's not like me denying it because it's a different opinion. I really want someone's opinion
the
to
arguments
make sense.
that I've heard for Hereditary pretty much have always boiled down to like it's so scary and the directing's effective, which it is, but like that doesn't make a film.
And that's the better of the two.
Yeah, like having like very solid scares and very effective moments, which yes, Hereditary does have a lot of those, doesn't fix the fact that its script is trash.
Yeah.
It makes no goddamn
And the third
sense.
act is
Just
off
garbage.
the edge.
And like everybody's like, oh, Midsummer, it's like I haven't heard a single like real good definitive, like even Gwen, our friend who fucking loves that fucking film, when she came over for the Halloween night, we had like a discussion like talking about Midsummer, and she didn't really have any backups or like any defenses against any of the points I was bringing up. She said, well, I just kind of like it. And like,
Yeah, okay,
but
we need
why?
to get off this and talk about why this film's really
No,
good.
because this film is amazing, and everybody gives fucking Harry asshole so much goddamn shit, and are fucking like just praising him as the fucking second coming of
Yeah.
filmmaking Christ, and no one gives a shit about Robert Eggers, who's made 2 fucking really good, really artsy horror films that didn't devolve in the third act.
And which I found weird is like this not being hyped up with the double VH was really
Big and was hyped up.
also I liked the double VH. It wasn't like the greatest thing for me personally.
I mean, yeah, it's nowhere near as good as this one was. It was very solid though.
I think this one
It didn't.
is the depth that I was missing from the last one.
I think The Witch is there. It's just you have to watch it a couple of times. Unfortunately, it doesn't have like the immediate like depth. There's like a lot of things you don't really like piece together until like your second, third.
It had a lot of
viewing.
bloodletting. That's good.
So much bloodletting.
Bloodletting is amazing. And this film, directed by Robert Eggers, and stars William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, who are really the only 2 people in
But
it.
it doesn't star Willem Dafoe's massive schlong.
Which is, we'll get into a little bit. I have a theory about how this lighthouse is powered, and I
know your
can
theory,
defend an argument.
really
saying-
can't though. I don't think you
in a
can.
really bullshit way. I'll find one. It's shot on 35 millimeter, and the type of film is Eastman Double X 5222, and it's a 1.119 1 aspect ratio.
The aspect ratio is so...
It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's helped it feel so claustrophobic, even in, like, outdoor scenes.
And the film is fantastic. The fucking contrast on this thing is amazing.
The black and white is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, no one appreciates modern black and white filmmaking. Like, there's so
you
many...
have to have a right film for it. And this
Yeah.
was the one where, like, I don't think any color should have been in this film.
No, if this film was in color, it would have been so much less effective. And there are so many films that, like, should have been in black and white that weren't. Mad Max Fury Road, like, the Blood and Chrome edition, so beautiful. Like, the other the color version's beautiful, too. Like, the oranges and the blues are so vibrant and beautiful. But the black and white version is just even more beautiful.
I've never seen that version, so I can't speak.
Oh.
Wasn't there another one that got another black and white version?
The Mist had a black and white version, which made it, like... It was like a creature feature, or like it was a throwback type in a way. So like the black and white made it feel like older, and like it made the CGI not look as so much like shit. And then Logan Noir was like a black and white version, and that one was like, it was okay. I don't think it justified it as much as like the other two did, but this definitely needed to be black and white. The artist, even though you're a fucking throwback to being a silent films, the fact that you were in black and white added nothing to that film, other than like it looks old.
What film?
The artist was like that like. It was the one that, like, the Oscars, like, fucking jizzed their pants over, like, a couple... Like,
Did it have that one guy, and I can't think of his name?
I don't know. It was, like, a French movie, but it was, like, it was done entirely in, like, black and white.
Oh, never mind.
Like,
I was thinking of something else, yeah. I know what you're talking about now.
It was supposed to be, like, a silent film, like, beyond, like, the whole, like, it's a silent film, the black and white added really nothing to the film.
Yeah. Why is it important?
It's fucking amazing.
It's a great film.
It's
and
goddamn...
It's I hope
I have one like this is film that's like my only major complaint about this film. It's not even that major. It's just I wish that like in the first like 4 weeks of like their time there, they made the pacing a little bit longer because like it did it a little bit, but like if they had done like from a bit like slower pace to like the more frantic like pace towards the end, I think it would the build up and then the tear down would have been really good.
Yeah, I think this is I'm going to say something probably really stupid, but I think this is very Kubrick-esque. And how, because it reminds me a lot of Shining. And I hope there's a trajectory, at least in quality, to form like the rest of Ager's material.
I'd say, I guess.
I hope there's a level of quality to this.
Yeah, I got comparisons to The Shining. I think that's the only comparison I really got to Kubrick. Yeah. Like, I don't think anything else of it really stood out. I was like, Kubrick-esque. I think the most Kubrick-esque director right now is probably, I don't even remember his name, but it's the guy that made Under the Skin.
Oh, okay. I've never seen that. So.
No, it's good.
Yeah. Because it stars
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't make it good. I think that brings it down a little bit. But like,
we got a lot to cover, so we need to get into this. Wikipedia. It's an internet encyclopedia. I do this bit every week. Jonathan hates it. You can research anything on there, and you can find the plot summaries to movies, and we read them every week.
You're so much.
So, are you ready to get in the Wikipedia plot summary? It's the way people talk about movies. They don't actually talk about them because they can't see them because this had like a weird ass release schedule. They just read them instead.
Yeah, nobody was able to see this movie. We're the only two people in the world who saw this movie.
I feel bad for the people who I saw on Twitter 2 weeks ago say, yeah, I drove out an hour to Cincinnati to fucking watch this movie. And I'm like, fucking losers.
One of my coworkers, like, we were talking about, and she was like, yeah, have you seen, like, the movie? It's like, no, like, I'm not willing to go out to, like, fucking Columbus or Cincinnati to watch a fucking, like, movie. Like, I've done that once. We did that for Loving Vincent. That's the only time we've done that.
Yeah. And in the end, it wasn't worth it because it showed at the neon.
And then it showed at the neon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
like, literally just be patient, and either it'll come to you, or it's just going to end up on Blu-ray, and you can just buy it. Just buy it. You can pay the price of, like, 2 tickets, you'll own it forever.
Yeah. Wikipedia summary, ready? In the late 19th century, Ephraim Winslow... Ephraim? No. Okay. I'm not going to read the rest of it, so it doesn't really matter. Okay. Is sent on a boat to serve...
Ephraim Winslow. The name's important, though, for his character.
Just Winslow?
Like, well, no, like the fact that it's not actually his name. Spoilers.
No. Yeah, we did. We spoiled. Yeah. We said that at the beginning.
We spoiled the Wikipedia article. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Is sent on a boat to serve a contract job as a wiki for 4 weeks.
September, man? What with being a wiki?
On an isolated island off the coast of New England under the supervision of an irritable elderly man named Thomas Wake.
I could have sworn he said Thomas Wick.
So the intro shot... What?
When he's like asked the name, I could have sworn he said Wick. I was like, Wick's the wiki. But like Wake is like still like a pretty like symbolic name because that's like a wave term. It's like the wave and the wakes.
The intro shot of this, or one of the intro shots, it's not the first one, but like them coming onto the island is fantastic. That shot of them stepping foot on the island and just standing there, almost like a mural painting like type thing.
Yeah.
It's fucking fantastic. There's a lot of great shots in here. That's probably my second favorite.
The editing of the shots didn't last long enough until like the shot of them just standing there looking at the camera. I think they went too quickly. There's some of them I really wish had held a little bit longer.
On the first day on the job, Winslow notices a hole in his cot. As he digs into it, he finds a small scrimshaw of a mermaid and stuffs it in his jacket. Winslow observes Wake going up to the lighthouse lantern room at night and stripping naked. Yeah. So, my theory. Okay, so let me get it. I have two things I need to talk about. So, first thing, this stupid thing. This lighthouse is powered
by oil, like all of our lighthouses.
No, it's powered by William Dafoe's penis.
You hit the mic.
His huge schlong. His rumored, also confirmed huge penis. And Robert Pattinson's penis is not as pleasing, so William Dafoe is scared to let the eternal being see it, or else he fear that Robert Pattinson's character would die, and which happens at the end. He falls through the hole, his penis has been rejected, and he falls down the stairs. Now, while Jonathan's cringing, my actual thing about this film, I view this, and Jonathan will disagree with me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
There's two ways this film plans out.
There's multiple ways.
Over the course.
There's 100 ways.
Two ways.
No.
It's all real.
It's
and all fake. What I mean by all fake is it's entirely in his head.
It can't entirely.
I'm not. Let me go through this and explain. And if it's all real. And if it's all real, it's an eternal being, and it's the side effects, the hallucinations are the side effects of being around that eternal being. Or it's this weird purgatory state where nothing really makes any sense.
Or it's an allegory and it doesn't really matter what is or isn't real anyways.
I think it's all real or all fake.
I think this is like... Good question. This might be dumb. Is this a Prometheus story? Is this like a retelling in the way of Prometheus?
I've never seen Prometheus.
Not also, like the movie
I know,
Prometheus,
but like there's
the,
that, and also I never.
So basically, Prometheus was like
that.
Tried to take like the fire and the light from the gods and give it to mankind, and he was punished for it by having his like liver eaten by like birds like on a daily basis.
Okay, so maybe it is. I didn't know that.
Like a perpetual like loop, and like given that like he said that, like the previous wiki before him did the same thing that like he did, where he went mad from the thing and like died. Like, is this just like a perpetual like loop of him like trying to steal the fire and then getting his like liver
which would be
eaten?
all real?
Yeah, and then getting his like liver eaten by the birds and like just to do it over and over again.
Yeah, which you're just confirming that I'm right. It's either all real or all fake.
Or it's all just a fucking allegory and it doesn't matter. Or like
because like
things could be in his head. Like we have sequences.
No, the
of
only
him, like fantasizing.
The only thing I
things.
think is the only sequence where I think is in his head is the scene where he's masturbating.
Oh, with all the like quick flashes and stuff.
Yeah, it's like I feel like. The only thing.
What about when he sees the mermaid, or like
I
when
don't
he
think
sees
that.
the tentacle?
Because
up in
like here's the
lighthouse?
thing. I think it would have to be the island itself, the eternal being in the thing, some offshoot of that.
Or some form of purgatory.
Yeah, or some form of purgatory, which would make it real. It's in his head, but it's real.
Yeah.
There's an explanation to why he's seeing it. If that makes sense. So like the hallucinations can still be hallucinations, or they can still only be real to him. But it's something manifesting in his head.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
Right.
And it's the same thing with Shining. Like Shining, the hotel was haunted.
Yeah.
Jack was troubled, but the hotel was haunted. Silent Hill, the town is just the old gods reign supreme.
Yeah.
And literally nothing makes any sense, and you basically retribution for your sins.
Yeah.
So whatever quality of your soul is, that's going to be reflected. If you carry guilt, if you carry crimes, those are reflected in the town.
Yeah.
So
and this character does.
Yeah.
The Winslow.
And which would mean all real.
Yeah.
Or all fake. It would have to be like. Yeah. I don't think it's on the all fake side. I think it's all real.
So, further question: is Thomas Wake a god? Is he Poseidon?
I think he's more of like a comparing it to Silent Hill 2, which I'm going to spoil probably a lot throughout this, or maybe not, depending on how much time I reference it. I think he's more like an Eddie.
Like an Eddie.
Yeah, he's more like he's there with him, and like he's found solace in whatever that is.
I don't know. There's like attributes of him that like seem almost like
Because I feel like he's too human in a sense.
yeah.
Because he gaslights a lot. His character gaslights a ton throughout this entire thing. Even if those sequences, like when he chases him with the axe, he like, if that wasn't real, it just comes off as really weird.
yeah.
So like, I think it seems more like gaslighting than like Robert Pattinson was chasing him with the axe. If that makes sense.
I guess.
It's
a complicated movie.
And also, like, he's keeping the light to himself,
yeah.
which that was a very selfish thing to do.
But I mean, like, Greek gods were very selfish.
Yeah, but like, also he's killed, which we don't know, which we aren't for sure if anyone
If he did or didn't kill the old like Lighthouse fellow wiki.
He killed him, but I'm saying he dies.
Yeah.
He
does get killed. But Greek gods can also get killed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's
so like,
complicated.
I don't personally. It
'Cause,
could
like,
be a thing, but also I don't think it.
Because like he carries like throughout the film, he has this like almost like larger than life, like almost like godlike presence over like
Yeah,
everything.
it's a thing where
Until,
I think
like-
that's the edge where I'm not gonna really debate it
Because
that
like
much.
Prometheus was a demigod, so like he was part god, which means he could, if he wanted to, like kill the gods.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fight that one that much because that one I'm really unsure. And I think it's getting to the point where that doesn't matter. All real world think is a consistency thing.
Yeah.
and it affects how the
I
story
think
plays
this is
out.
all real, other than like the jacking off sequence.
Yeah, jacking off sequence. I think. Well, obviously the part where he's jacking off, imagining the mermaid. That's in his head. Fully, that's like him because that's like, he gains off of that
There's a
compared
lot-
to where just seeing the mermaid he didn't gain from that. So why would his brain do it on loan unless there's exterior first?
But then what about the scene then when he's choking Willem Dafoe and like Willem Dafoe turns into like the tentacle creature and then turns into the mermaid?
That's an offshoot of
The jacking off sequence.
that's just an offshoot. It could be.
Or is Willem
it's-
Dafoe the tentacle creature? Is he like actually, because like there's the tentacle scenes when he's up in the lighthouse alone. Is the tentacles from the lighthouse or is the tentacles Willem Dafoe?
I really don't know enough. I'm not gonna argue that. I don't really.
Is
think-
Willem Dafoe Davy Jones? Who runs like the locker for like dead sailors. And basically runs their hell and their purgatory.
That could be it. I think. I don't know. I think his character could be anything.
Yeah.
It could be human. It could not be human. That's way more looser than the real fake thing.
Yeah.
Where it's definite. It's like consistency. It has to be one.
It's a good movie.
It's good.
Go watch it. Come up with your own theories of like
Yeah,
this represents what.
Winslow observes Wake going up to the lighthouse's lantern room at night and stripping naked. Winslow begins experiencing visions and dreams of tentacles in the lighthouse, tree stumps floating in the water, and distant images of a mermaid. Over the course of his stay, Wake demands Winslow to allocate to the more taxing jobs, refueling the light, carrying heavy kerosene containers, and disposing of the two-man's chamber pots.
Falls and shit getting over his face.
Yeah. As the weeks progress, Winslow repeatedly encounters a one-eyed sequel. Was it one-eyed? I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is why I think that like when I leaned over and like said like is the seagull the reincarnation of like the old lighthouse? Because when he finds the corpse of the old wiki, the wiki's missing an eye.
Oh.
Which is why I think the seagull might, because
I didn't notice that.
Wake says
I
that-
believe he's a sailor. Like
Yeah.
once that was a plot point brought up in the thing that the sailors, those seagulls are old sailors. That made sense.
It's like I'm pretty sure that like that seagull is specifically the old wiki.
Yeah. Wake warns Winslow that it's bad luck to kill a seagull as he's superstitious that the animals are reincarnated sailors. The week continues and Winslow masturbates to the figurine of the mermaid and continues to see Wake naked. One dinner night, the two discussed Wake's previous second wiki, who Wake said died shortly after losing his sanity. Winslow reveals that he's used to work in Canada as a timberman but decided to change professions. This also gives me the impression, besides the fact that he is there,
Yeah.
with like almost like just like a whim,
Yeah.
Very Silent Hill-esque. Because Silent Hill, you never really know why you're going there. You just
do.
end up.
Yeah.
It's just like fate. And this seemed
Unless
like
it's Silent Hill the movie, in which case you have a very clear reason for going there.
not really.
I mean, it's like, oh, my daughter gets these visions of Silent Hill because this is where her soul was like once born into like the body of an older.
Yeah,
person,
but that's
and
also a
she's-
child's nightmares.
It's still like much more thought out and methodical than like most. Like Silent Hill 2, like my dead wife sent me a letter from Silent Hill. I must go. And
also
like, Silent
Eddie-
Hill 1, they just kind of show up there after a car crash.
Yeah, Eddie went there because he was just running away from the cops.
Yeah.
Laura's there for Maria.
Like most of her character, like in most of the games, people just show up there because like some random fan like told them
Yeah.
to go there. Like Silent Hill the movie is like much more like thought out like mythology of like why this character's there,
Yeah.
which makes it bad.
Yeah. Not the only thing that makes it bad.
No, it's not the only thing that makes it bad. There's a lot of things that make that movie bad.
The day before Winslow is saying to leave, he notices the water pump is releasing bloody water and investigates. He opens up the cistern to see a dead seagull floating inside. The one-eyed seagull flies down and attacks Winslow, who grabs it and beats it to death against the cistern. That afternoon, the wind dramatically changes direction, which this is the what is it? Crossing the threshold for him.
Yeah.
I think this is at the point in the film where, let's say if this was like a purgatory or where they're testing out his soul,
This is where hell.
he's unworthy.
Yeah, this is like, you go to hell, boy.
Yeah. That night, a storm hits the island and the two men get drunk. The sequences where they get drunk are just near perfect
Yeah.
of how people deal with each other in cabin fever.
I think like Robert Pattinson like actually got drunk while making this film and to do those scenes.
No, it doesn't surprise me. The next morning, the ferry does not arrive, and Winslow sees a body washed up on the shore. Winslow approaches the naked body and realizes that it's a mermaid. He runs back into the cottage and finds Wake stating that the rations were impacted by the storm. They dig up a crate to contain extra rations, but it's only more alcohol.
Perfect.
And they get more drunk. More nights progress, and the storm continues. The two men grow closer while remaining adversarial. Adversarial? Is that how you say it? I can't read. Never learned. Winslow unsuccessfully tries to steal a key to the lantern room from a sleeping Wake. He also has visions of a lobster trap containing the severed half-baked head of Wake's previous wiki. Half-blinded head of Wake's previous wiki.
Again, why I think that it's like the one-eyed seagull is the one.
I just assumed
Yeah.
because that's the one seagull just kept on interacting. I didn't see the one eye.
Yeah.
For one night, Winslow tells Wake that his real name is Thomas Howard and that he assumed the identity of Ephraim Winslow, a timberman who died in an accident. Howard failed to stop. Wake accuses Howard of spilling his beans, and Howard tries to leave. He attempts to escape in a rifle, but Wake destroys it with the axe. Wake chases Howard into the cottage, but inside, Wake claims that Howard was the person who attacked him.
Yeah.
So I think that's gaslighting.
Yeah.
That had to be gaslighting. And he also like gaslights them into things like drinking, and he gaslights them into talking and almost getting more rugged.
And like how long he's been on the island and like changing the time. Like it's like, oh, I've only been here a night. Like it's been like weeks.
Yeah.
Yo, you've been drunk.
Yeah. With no alcohol left, the two begin mixing spirits out of kerosene, and the storm becomes so powerful that waves crash throughout the windows of the cottage. They essentially just get flooded in. It's fantastic looking. The next morning, Howard finds Wake's logs recording his infractions and recommending severance without pay. This is something I could see. I don't understand why he would do this if he was a god. Because that would imply that he's leaving.
I think it could also be like the judgment log. Like logging his sins in his purgatory.
Could be.
And like his final judgment is basically like fuck him.
Yeah. Wake sides Howard for his work performance until Howard attacks him while seeing visions of a mermaid. Wake has a sea monster, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
He has just a bunch of like seashells attached to his forehead. And the real Winslow, Howard beats Wake into submission. Howard ties Wake in a rope leash and buries him alive in the rations pit, which is criminally terrifying and also hilarious.
The way it's like, because he's just like doing this like monologue and then like he just keeps like throwing
It's all
dirt
one
at his
shot.
face. It's Yeah, it's such a good shot.
It's fantastic how just sand just keeps looking at his face and just irritates him, and it's real, so it's hilarious. Yeah. It's terrible, but it's hilarious. Howard ties Wake in a rope. Oh, I read that. But Howard ties Wake in a rope leash and buries him alive in the ration pit. Howard takes the keys and prepares to go up to the lantern room, but Wake appears and hits him in the shoulder with the axe. Howard disarms and kills Wake before ascending the lighthouse. He approaches the Fresnel lens and stops it, and it stops and opens for him. Howard gazes into the mirror interior in ecstasy and lets out a distorted scream as the light brightens before falling down the lighthouse steps. Because his penis was too small.
Yep.
Howard is then seen lying naked on the rocks, missing an eye, as several seagulls peck his innards. I didn't notice a missing eye.
Which is again why I think this is like a recycling, like recurring, like just it keeps cycling through, and it's just like purgatory and like a. Fuck! Why did I just suddenly forget? Prometheus.
So
like,
see, the
style,
Prometheus
like,
I know nothing
legend.
about.
Yeah.
So it never. I wouldn't have that reflex.
Yeah.
For me, it's just type of purgatory.
Yeah.
Or judgment place. I like this. It has a lot of depth. It is constantly confusing. It has a Jacob's Ladder sense of insanity, but not as much blunt as Jacob's Ladder.
It doesn't literally open its first shot after like a guy gets stabbed in like Vietnam with hell. It's like, oh
yeah,
cool.
What do people think about this other than us, though? Jonathan, do you ever wonder that?
No.
Do you ever think we can go to this place called Google Reviews and just read
the opinions of the plebeians below us mean nothing?
Well, we're gonna do that anyway. Time to go over Google Reviews. 65% of people who voted on this movie liked it. That's less than Silent Hill.
Fuck
so
you.
we have to give up this film's worst of the year material.
Yep. Worst of the year.
Yep. It's time to go over what people said. And the first one's from Jonathan Frankfurt, who says,
I didn't say this.
You're not Jonathan Frankfurt. You're Jonathan Reeser. Jonathan Frankfurt gave this downvote.
They're gonna steal my identity.
No. Jonathan Frankfurt gave this a downvote and said, as the great Homer Simpson would say, boring.
No, I don't think Homer Simpson created that word.
Yeah, I think he did.
Oh.
He's a master of the modern English language.
He?
Yeah.
Dope!
I can't understand all the hype. I think you have a lot of artsy professional reviewers who are a bit bored with what's out there, and since this one is a bit different, they went gaga over it. Let me read the rest of this and we'll dissect this. I also think they got carried away by William Dafoe's performance and want to get on the Oscar bandwagon early. Yeah, he put in a classic actor's performance with unusual dialect and Shakespearean delivery, but that doesn't change the fact that the movie itself plodded along at a very boring pace. We couldn't wait for it to be over. No, this thing's actually pretty quick.
Yeah, that's pretty well like paced. Like in fact, I would one of the things that says like I wish the beginning was like slower paced because I think it would have built like the dread and the tension better.
It's not really. It's artsy in shots, but it's not really that artsy.
Like it's
unless being confusing is artsy, which I don't think it is.
Yeah, like it's artsy in terms of, like it's very artfully crafted. It does like a lot of like what art films do in terms of, like it's. Well, was it Lafferty who always told us like in like when making like art films like read for maximum ambiguity, like it does that, and that like it doesn't go out of its way to explain things to you.
What?
I was like Midsummer Hereditary.
Yeah,
and like it's not trying to be like a in your face spoon feeding you the information and the story. Like actually wants you to like work a little bit, be a little more of an active participating viewer.
Yeah, this seemed like a fucking sprint to Midsummer.
Yeah, Midsummer was slow. This Midsummer is also like twice as long as this movie. This was a nice, quick, artful film.
It was as suspenseful as one of the greatest thrillers of all time, The Shining.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like when you like, I honestly feel like the inclusion of the axe was like a reference to The Shining. Because, like there's a lot of Shining influence on this clearly.
Yeah,
and The Shining was slower paced than this.
Yeah,
longer than this. This is a very like, this is like a good like quick view for this type of film. These type of films are never this quick. They're never this short.
Jacob's Ladder Jacob Ladder, I love that film, but it seemed pretty long.
Yeah, this is like a well-paced, like quick view. This is the type of film you would show to somebody to get them into this type of film, because like it gets them going, it gets them through it.
Yeah, next one's from Cindy Murr, who gave us a downvote. Cannot fathom why this film is receiving good reviews. Way too long.
It's like an hour 50 minutes.
It's not that long. Pretentious.
That word's thrown around too much.
Nah, it's not. I think William Dafoe is pretentious, but that's his kind of character.
Yeah, we never talked about that fan. We just talked about like his character like uses like Shakespearean delivery because like he's using a lot of like old like seaman lingo because like it's part of the question is like Robert Hasbury himself was like, you talk like you're just like great sailor, but there's nothing on record about you. Like this is an act. Like he is an act. He's overplaying a character. He's a character playing a character.
Yeah. Cannot find why this film's receiving good reviews. Way too long, pretentious, and overdone. Wall-to-wall wailing foghorns.
That's part of the sound. That's like an actual soundscape part of like the setting.
A lot of creating suspense with loud noises, which is amazing.
That's like something that you would actually hear, like if you were on the island. That's not like they're just doing it because it sounds weird. Like no, that's like actually creating real.
Screeching winds and all kind of wetness.
It's on an island in a storm,
and it has
what the fuck did you expect?
It has William Dafoe's penis in it, and that's very wet. I would assume.
Yeah, like it's. Look, there's this movie, and it's set in the middle of a horrifying sea storm.
Okay.
But like, why is it so like so much wind, and why is it so wet?
Okay, I'm hoping you have a more naval background than I do.
Mm-hmm.
I know lighthouses.
Been on a boat a couple times.
Yeah, me too. But like, aren't lighthouses like sometimes they can be connected to land? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not like on their own isolated island. Like sometimes they can be.
Yeah.
But they're usually near land.
Yeah.
Are there lighthouses out in the middle of nowhere?
If it's like an island that's like a heavily trafficked area, they're there to make sure people don't run into them. That's what a lighthouse is for. A lighthouse is there to like alert like ships that like there's land here, like especially at night or during storms, like don't fucking crash into this shit. So like if it's like a heavily like trafficked area or just a place that like ships will go through, like they would need one there just to like let people like, hey, please don't crash here.
You may start longing for a hot shower.
However, I don't think, because based on like the fact that no ships come by like their entire stay there, and it's so like out in the middle of like nowhere, I'm pretty sure like this is not a place you would normally put a lighthouse. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be more of like the purgatory, like just separated from society.
You may start longing for a hot shower halfway. Only redeeming element is the foe who spews endless old time shanty pseudo wisdom in long single takes and makes the best of a directionless script of
So
cheap
much
scares.
direction in this.
There's a ton
What
of depth.
cheap scares?
And Thunder Hell, there isn't jump
There's
scares.
no jump scares.
Unless the cum shot of William Dafoe coming through the floor the first time Robert Pattinson's encounter him, which I'm surprised we didn't.
Wetness.
Oh yeah, which I'm surprised we didn't bring up earlier.
It's not really.
It's not really that important.
Yeah, it's just like it's a quick thing.
Yeah,
it's nowhere near as much cum as the movie we'll be talking about next week.
Yeah.
We're watching porn next week.
No. Single takes and makes the best of directional script of cheap scares and thunder heavy symbolism signifying nothing in the end. A mashup of myth, male bloating, Melville and Maine cliches. Puzzling. Who cares?
What Maine cliches? This wasn't a Stephen King book.
Yeah, and also I think this is it's critiquing male masculinity.
Yeah.
At anything.
Yeah, like we're not really like, oh man, men are so cool because you watch this movie. It's like, wow, they're both kind of shitty people.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Melville, literally the only Melville phase that he used a lot of like fucking sea shanty shit and like just fucking like naval lingo. I think there's something I wanted to mention.
Is it important?
I feel like
film.
Yes. Oh yeah, when they're talking about start longing for a hot shower halfway. This is like one of the few films that like has managed to be like just kind of generally like gross.
Yeah.
With, like the use of like shit and stuff in a way that seems like really artful. Like remember when we watched Hard to Be a God, the black and white Russian film.
Yeah, we didn't do it for the show.
No, but like just in class.
Yeah,
and like we watched Hard to Be a God, and it was very there's like just human shit. And like
because it takes place in like medieval times,
yeah, and it was just everywhere,
similar to medieval
but, like,
times.
It was so well shot that like even though it felt disgusting, it was like beautiful at the same time.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's disgusting, but like it's not like Kuso disgusting.
Yeah,
or like it's trying to gross you out. It's
this Kuso disgusting. The thing is more like the scariest stuff.
Yeah,
was the
the grossest.
Yeah, like Tim Heidecker coming out of the toilet.
Yeah.
That was the grossest thing.
Yeah, but like
But that was because he was a rapist.
And Hard to Be a God, like it was like very like it was gross and it was disgusting. You felt like you wanted to shower while you watched it, but it didn't feel like exploitive.
Yeah.
It felt natural, and it was so like the cinematography was so good, and the black and white was so crisp, and it felt gross, but still like beautiful in a weird way.
Yeah. Do you know about the Internet Movie Database?
Yes.
It's a place where all
Please
the movies
stop
are stored.
please stop describing
and
things.
users and critics can leave reviews.
Please stop describing things on the
And
internet.
that's it. That's all I got to say.
Oh,
and
okay.
it has an 8.4 out of 10 score in IMDb, which is better than Silent Hill. So
Good.
it's not complete. It's not a double decker of trash.
I have no hope for Google reviews anymore.
And we have some reviews from that.
They're
The first
consistently
one's from Iqbal66, and they say one of the worst movies of 2019.
Did you see Hereditary?
1 out of 10.
Midsommar?
No.
They're the same movie.
Where to start
They're
with
both
this
bad.
pretentious piece of crap? Let's start with the language. I couldn't understand half of what these two were saying. How about adding some subtitles? Plot? I guess it was about Pattinson going insane during his stay on the island. I couldn't really care less because neither character was remotely interesting. Filmed in 1.19/1 aspect ratio. I guess artsy director wanted to make you feel claustrophobic watching
Yes.
this, or wanted to evoke the feel of classic films like
It's the first one.
the old Dark House.
And that's
Except
not-
that was
effective.
this piece of shit was no old Dark House.
I don't even know what the fuck
I don't know what that is. Acting, if you want to see William Dafoe act like a pirate, complete with R, go right ahead.
Did he actually go? I don't think he went R.
No.
Like, and he literally just uses old.
He
like,
went what?
He does the thing that this director did in The Witch, where he made people in a period piece say the things that people in that time period would actually say. It's called authenticity. You fucking dickhead.
The only thing he wasn't playing a pirate. He was playing a lighthouse keeper. The best part of the film was when it ended, but it really hit that I lost a couple hours of my life watching. How do you not enjoy this?
Okay, here's the thing. I'm gonna break this down a couple bit. So let's start the language. I couldn't understand half of what these two were saying. It's old timey. Like you can understand what they're saying. It's just really old timey.
Okay, wait. Bonus question. When do you think this takes place?
Based on
Because I think honestly, I think this could take place in 2019. To be honest,
I think
because there's nothing signifying that it couldn't.
based on the
But I don't
clothing
think it's
and
like
what we see of like the technology and all that stuff, I'd say because
Early
like
19.
White Houses nowadays are like almost entirely like electronic. They don't
Yeah.
they don't run whale oil anymore.
Yeah.
Because whaling is bad.
That's
so, like,
good.
I'd say like early.
those whales have had it too good for too long.
I'd say like early 1900s probably.
Yeah,
like
that's a good
this is
estimate.
the language and the dialogue that it would be used back then. So, so that's the first thing. Secondly, he doesn't talk like a fucking pirate. He talks like a fucking seaman from like the 1900s. Because,
And then he does have semen.
yeah, I really wish there was a better term for that. He a sailor. He talks like a sea captain and a sailor from the 1900s because he's a sea captain and a sailor from the 1900s, possibly maybe no more than that.
2019.
Yeah,
Because there's nothing proven that I can't.
and like he never goes R. He wasn't doing any of the bullshit that you're saying. It was filmed in 1:19:1 aspect ratio, and you got it right the first time you said to feel claustrophobic because this is a very claustrophobic film, and like also like I guess to evoke the feel of like classic films like old Dark Horse. Except most of the times that were like from the times this were making weren't shot in that aspect ratio. They were shot wider.
Yeah.
because that was when they still shot things like wide.
Yeah, 4-3.
They really only started doing 4:3 when like television became big because they wanted to match the television aspect ratio.
What was it before 4-3? I thought it was 4-3.
It was like 4:3 and then like there's like classic cinematic widescreen.
Oh.
And then 4:3 and then like close it.
Yeah.
But like this is how like just really like this was how news footage would be shot.
Yeah.
Like when that really like tiny little aspect ratio. That's what this was. This was basically like war footage, like how that would be shot. And so it's I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Old Dark House, no one gives a shit about that.
Okay, I'm going to try to say this next person's name. Himan Shandel 03562. Worst movie of the decade. 1 out of 10. The Lighthouse is the worst movie of this decade. No story.
Blank
Ineligible characters. Or
Dialogue.
ineligible dialogues.
Just
poor
pay
acting.
attention and no like I don't I'm not an old school sailor. I'm not a naval buff. I don't know that much about like
I understand
sea
everything.
lingo. And I'm assuming you're not because you're a fucking dork.
I'm cool. I hang out on boats on the
Yeah.
weekends. I don't.
Neither of
But,
us
like,
have like a background in this shit. But
I
like,
understand that like everything besides the. I understand what he was saying.
Yeah.
I didn't understand like every reference or
Yeah,
anything
like,
like that, but I understand
context clues literally tell you like what he's trying to get at. And just the general, like, you can figure it out when he says, like, I damn you, and, like, goes on this fucking long-ass rambling. It's like, oh, okay, he's cursing him for being an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, there's not that hard to understand. Like, if you don't necessarily understand every single fucking reference, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't understand every single fucking reference in The Vitch because I'm not from the fucking, like, 1700s.
I understand bloodletting.
I understand bloodletting. That's all.
It's important medical art lost to time.
And then poor acting. This film is so well acted.
It's good because they only needed 2 actors.
Yeah,
So like, you got
can-
people for like one take shots, and
And
that was
then
it.
you could focus in on the actors like directly and like so focused on like their performance. Like it's great acting.
See, this is why you get 2 good actors. You make like a really small crew, 2 actors, and then a bunch of people who do not matter.
Yeah,
And who don't even
you don't go the Midsummer route where you get like way too many characters, half of which are fucking stereotypes and just phone in their performances.
and then you make Cheaty really unbearable and
Yeah.
stupid. The Lighthouse is the worst movie this decade. No story, ineligible dialogues, poor acting. This movie has all the ingredients to make it a horrible movie. Who thought black and white movies are a good idea? The story has no legs and is all about a guy imagining things. I kept thinking something of going. I kept on thinking something of going to happen in this movie, but it's just plain silly. I was forced to watch this movie again with a gun. It says if I was forced to watch this movie again with a gun on my head, I prefer to be shot repeatedly. I thought he said I was forced to watch this movie again. I was like,
Like, oh Jesus, that's no wonder you had a bad time. One thing I want to say is like when he's like, who thought black and white movies are good? I hate people like that.
Yeah.
Who are just like, oh, if it's black and white, it's shit. Do you know who's like that? My older brother.
Yeah.
That's like the main thing about him I hate is that like he has like no respect for like black and white films. He literally refuses to watch black and white films. Doesn't matter when they're made.
Yeah.
Like part of it was like, oh, I just don't like old films. Like, okay, that's kind of respectful. Some of them like they date. That's like I can kind of understand that. But he was like, then I like try to show him like a more recent film in black and white. I was like, oh, it's black and white. I don't know
Which
what
film was it?
what was Eraserhead? But like no, most people don't want to watch that. But like there was something else. Oh, Night of the Living Dead.
Oh.
He's like, oh, it's black and white. I want to fucking watch it. I was like, why? He was like, it's old. And I was like, you fucking love the shit out of like Predator, and it's only like a decade like newer about, and like you fucking love shit like that. And he's like, oh, it's just fucking old. It's like, fuck you. Watch the goddamn
This is
movie.
why he works for Disney.
Yeah.
Because he's a Satanist.
And like, and he, yeah, it's just black and white doesn't mean old. It doesn't mean bad. It's an aesthetic choice that's usually picked for like a pretty good reason. Like if a film is made today in black and white, there's usually like a pretty substantial reason behind it. Mm-hmm. It's not like something that somebody just fucking does on a whim anymore.
It's expensive if you do it.
Yeah, like
If you do it,
it's actually
not-
harder now to make a film on black and white than like it used to be. Like black and white was cheaper, and that's why like films like Psycho are made in black and white because like it was just cheaper to shoot in black and white.
Yeah.
But like in digital,
With
like
actual film, if you do it in digital,
Yeah.
it's still hard.
it's
but
harder because like the like digital previews of black and white is shit.
Yeah.
Like you have to like film it in color but like planning it on black and white,
Yeah.
which you still have to do if you're doing it in film in black and white because we can't fucking see in black and white unless you're like really colorblind.
Yeah.
So like to shoot on black and white is harder because you have to visualize things in a way that you don't actually see them. If you're doing it digitally, you can't even get a preview for it that works. You have to then like plan on it and then like convert it afterwards. If you're doing it on film, like to do it in black and white, film is just a pain in the ass
Yeah.
to shoot in, and it's more expensive most times nowadays. So
Yeah.
like doing it, it's not an easy thing to do. So you don't just do it on a fucking whim. You have a reason behind it.
No, if you're Tommy Wiseau, you do both of them. But you don't do black and white, you do color film, so it's even more worse.
Yeah. Fuck Tommy Wiseau.
Shot at both film and digital. Oh, he's a genius.
Is he?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, in a weird way. Everyone's a genius in their
That's-
own weird
I
way.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's S
tier.
tier. Yeah. No. Okay. We're gonna leave it at that. You know, you want to know what we're doing for our final terrible segment?
What?
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 What? That was it. That was the segment.
That was
Good job. Good improvisation. Okay, we're done. That's it. Is it a film?
Yes, and it was actually shot on film.
Oh,
Holy shit.
wow. Is it a digital?
No.
Pretty sure it is.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure
it
they
was probably converted to digital when we watched it, but that's beside the point.
That's it for this week's episode of Is It a Film? We're a podcast that critiques and memes films and asks one very important question: Is it a film? If you want to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, find us at Is It a Film. If you want to find us on YouTube, youtube.com/Is It a Film. If you want to find us on patreon.com/Is It a Film. If you want to support us monetarily, and if you want to find us podcast, find us on Apple Podcasts. Actually, I think I said patreon.com/The Anthony and Todd Show, not Is It a Film.
Yeah, if you do that, you're not going to find it.
You're not going to find anything.
Or you might. It just won't be us.
And if you want to find us on podcast in audio form, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Spotify, and search The Anthony and Todd Show Best of Both Worlds film and music reviews. And we're going to leave it at that.
I got one very important question for you, though.
What?
Why just spill your beans?
It's because it's just like... you open it up. Opening cans is hard sometimes.
I spilled it because I don't like beans. I don't like the way they taste. I don't like the texture. They give me bad gas.
Until next time, guys, I'm
Spilled
Vincent.
them, so I don't have to eat them.
Oh, I hate you. Until next time, guys, I'm Vincent.
I'm Jonathan.
And see ya, boys.
See ya.
What?
I hate you.